Hi, I'm Mary Jo Coulihan, Executive Director for the Pagosa Springs Chamber of Commerce. In a normal year, the Chamber would host an in-person annual meeting and community celebration where we recognize leaders in our community from local businesses, area nonprofit agencies, and individuals. But as we know, due to COVID-19, 2020 was not a normal year. I call it the year different. So this year, instead of choosing one person from these areas in our community, we decided to choose 5 sectors and people and organizations in those sectors and highlight them in a series of videos. Now we know that there are so many more heroes in our community that we could recognize, and we'll never be able to show them all. But we hope that you enjoy these following stories of success and resiliency and dedication. We are proudly Pagosa.
We are a 24-hour service, and so that never stopped, despite having to close our offices to in-person advocacy, so we weren't allowed to have the walk-ins anymore. We actually had significant increases in the number of calls that we were receiving. At 1 month, we had like 138% increase in our counseling calls. And so, I help people to understand what COVID very effectively did for victims and survivors is locked them in with the very person that they're most in danger from. 2020 was just such a hard year. It was hard to watch the news, and it was hard to understand that it looked like our world was just falling apart. A lot of good has come out of it. People's, they're becoming activists when maybe they would have been more silent. All these, these riots and the hate that was going on, and I think that we're thankfully the pendulum is coming back to a more normal place where we can look at, okay, these are serious topics, these can't go away, and how are we as a society going to rebuild? When it comes to what Rise Above Violence does, we're in a really good place. Like I said, when we first started working in this and the battered women's movement started in the 70s to where we are now, the momentum is really, really building. And what we're trying to get at, this is our 25th year anniversary. And one of the things that we are tasking ourselves to do is, can we truly end domestic and sexual violence in Pagosa? And we think we can.
The director of human services called up and said, we know you guys have been doing a lot of great work with the food assessment, but what we really need right now is emergency feeding. We need hunger relief work, and we appreciate the connections you've made. Can you shift into this work so that we have a plan as people are going to start going home, the need is going to rise through the roof. And so we really shifted into kind of hunger relief work starting in March. And we pulled together all the 6 food pantries in Archuleta County. So 5 of them are faith-based, and 1 is at a community center in Arborlees, and they've really formed a strong network that they work collaboratively to source food, to purchase together, and then to make sure that we're all serving the same community. So to get food out to those who need it. And one of the things we learned during our community food assessment was that the folks visiting the food pantries really wanted fresh foods. They wanted fruits and vegetables and milk and meat. And so as we were able to apply for funding that came out of relief funds, we put a lot of that energy into purchasing local fresh produce products for the food pantries. So that was CSA shares and beef and milk, and we were working with local bakeries to get bread, and so that we can both kind of support our local economy through this hard time and also respond to the needs of people who said, we don't just want canned beans, we want to be able to eat things that make us healthy. As organizations kind of pivoted, due to the pandemic to say, like, we need to enable communities to get resources to meet their own needs. We were able to take a lot of projects that the community had identified and say, let's try it out. You know, we know that this is something that's important to you. How can we figure out how to get food, you know? So we need to do a delivery to Aspen Springs. Do we need to bring hot meals down to Arborlees? Like, what can we do with the resources that we have and the needs that have been identified to really respond immediately? Supply chains were broken, and you couldn't get things from A to B as everyone kind of in the heart of the shutdown, and to really think about how we can build resiliency in our own communities and to support our local businesses and our local farmers and growers and community members in general.
We like to sit out on our patio and watch the birds. I've got lots of bird feeders in my yard. As far as the Arts Council, though, it's been really difficult because we moved into our building hoping that we were going to be running art classes and having art camps and study halls and all kinds of things for the kids. And shows, some art shows. It's a small space, but to have some small art shows, maybe have like a pop-up co-op gallery. And we haven't been able to do any of that. We have had a few classes, but it's not cost effective because we can't have enough people in there. And a lot of the art teachers are afraid to even teach a class. I think that just by getting that mural going, it made people realize that art is important and that Pagosa can be a huge resource for art, public art or any kind of art. So we had lots and lots and lots of comments about the mural. It was a big mural, it was a big undertaking, so it was very noticeable. And we got a lot of people that may not have known who we were at all because we've only been an organization for about 3.5 years. They realized who we were. The other thing that we have done for the last few years is we've given a $5,000 scholarship to a high school senior that is going to make art their focus of their study. The kid that got it was just ecstatic. He said he never would have been able to go to school had it not been for that scholarship. We have a party planned for the 17th of April to celebrate the completion of the mural, and the town will have hopefully by then accepted their arts plan that I was helping Cindy Schultz with. So we've got an arts plan that is online right now, ready to be commented on. So it'll be a celebration of public art mostly and arts education.